aspirants, welcome to AKS and welcome to the another session of discussion of anthropology. This is your lecture number 4. In the previous session, we have already discussed about cell. We have started in the previous session, that is in lecture number 3. In lecture number 3, we have started with the discussion on physical anthropology. We have already discussed about the cell theory and the categorization of the cell, in which we have discussed about the unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay, in this session we will discuss about prokaryotes, eukaryotes and other facts which are related to cell. This is presented by me, Shailaja Niharika. Okay, without much delay, let's start our session. So this is a picture of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In this pic, you can see the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Here you can see the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, the cell organelles are comparatively less than the eukaryotes. Okay, the cell organelles are comparatively less than eukaryotes. So in prokaryotes, here you see the nucleoid. Remember all these names. So don't worry, we will discuss about all these topics. We will discuss about all these organelles in detail. Okay, in prokaryotes we have nucleoid, capsule, that is some karyotes have some prokaryotes have the capsule, and this is the tail-like structure. This is called the flagellum. Next we have the cell wall, and next cell membrane. Cell membrane is there, and ribosomes are present both in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. And not only that, in eukaryotes, apart from ribosomes and cell membrane, which are common to prokaryotes, it also consists of mitochondria, membrane which is closed in nucleus and nucleolus, and there are also many other organelles which are in eukaryotes. Okay, so for your better understanding, now let us understand the categorization. There is one more categorization, that is cell can also be categorized into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, prokaryotes, if you divide this word, word pro, where pro means previous and karyos means cell. Pro means previous and karyos means cell. And if you divide this word eukaryotes, where u means new and karyos means cell, where karyos means cell. So in their combination, prokaryotes, which are primitive cells or previous cells, these are called as primitive cells or previous cells. So we have already discussed in the previous topic that when the earth is formed around 4.5 billion years ago, when the earth is formed, what has happened? It did not allow life to form, because there is no conducive environment for life to get started when earth has formed. Approximately, I am not saying exact time period, approximately around 3 billion years ago, life has initially appeared on the earth. And the life which has initially appeared, they are actually prokaryotes. They are prokaryotes. Okay, eventually what has happened? Eukaryotes has evolved from prokaryotes. Eukaryotes has evolved from prokaryotes. Okay, in the previous session we have already discussed about the totipotency. We have discussed about the totipotency. Okay, so don't miss these topics, guys. Don't miss the uploads, YouTube uploads, because if you miss one session, then what will happen? You may not understand the other session easily. Okay, so these are what is the difference, guys? So these are the previous cells and these are the new cells, and the other difference of a prokaryotes is the cells are initial structure when life has started, and here we see the cells have the high differentiation which perform different functions. So here we have the different kinds of functions of perform, and the size of cell is generally small. The size of cell is generally small, and compared to, this is actually comparative studies, you should always compare with the pre-existing cells. So eukaryotes compared to the prokaryotes, they are larger in size. And it contains single chromosomes. Prokaryotes contains a single chromosome. So whereas the eukaryotes, they contain multiple chromosomes. That is different from plants and animals. Eukaryotes contains both plants and animals. Okay, and here nucleus is absent. Here the nucleus is absent. But in eukaryotes, the nucleus is present. In eukaryotes, nucleus is present. That is a very, very important thing. And what has happened, as nucleus is absent, what will happen? The genetic material, usually the genetic material it embeds in the nucleus. As nucleus is absent, what will happen? The genetic material is freely suspended. The genetic material is freely suspended and it's stored in the nucleotide. It is stored in the nucleotide. And but the enclosure is absent here. But the enclosure is absent here. The enclosure is absent. As there is a genetic membrane, that is, there is a nuclear membrane. So if you consider this to be the nucleus, here we have a nuclear membrane. So as there is nuclear membrane, what will happen? The genetic material is tightly intact. They are tightly intact. They are enclosed within the nucleus. Okay, and here cell wall is present. The other important thing is that in prokaryotes a cell wall is present. In prokaryotes cell wall is present, whereas in eukaryotes cell wall is absent. That is very, very important. The cell wall is absent in eukaryotes. Okay. The other important thing is that in prokaryotes mitochondria is absent. In eukaryotes mitochondria is absent. Mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. This is called as the powerhouse of the cell. Whereas in eukaryotes, what is happening? Mitochondria is present. In eukaryotes, the mitochondria is present. Here, mitochondria is present. Okay. And this contains a single chromosome. This contains single chromosome. Prokaryotes contains a single chromosome. Here we find multiple chromosomes are involved. Okay. The kind of cell division. The kind of cell division it takes place is a fission or budding. Here it takes a fission or budding. So this is a asexual kind of reproduction happens here. But here a new progeny is produced through sexual reproduction. So what happens in sexual reproduction? Both male and female are required for individual to come, but in fission what is happened? The single cell, in single cell it performs the various functionalities, and as a result new progenies are formed. So fission is something, if you consider this to be cell, this single cell divides into two. This single cell divides into two, that is the parent cell itself divides into two, and what will happen? Two single cells are formed. Two single cells are formed. Okay. So this is called as fission. And in budding, it usually takes place in hydra. It usually takes place in hydra. The best example for budding is hydra. And this consider this to be the tentacles. Okay. So here a small bud appears. Okay, which appears from the parent cell. And eventually what happens? This gets separated from the parent cell and a new hydra is formed. Okay. And this kind of thing which you can find in budding. The examples of prokaryotes are bacteria and cyanobacteria, and the examples of eukaryotes are plant cell and animal cells. Apart from amoeba, hydra, euglena, all these things come under the examples of prokaryotes. Okay, now let us understand. So for your better understanding, this is the picture of prokaryotes and this is the complex structure of eukaryotes. So you can see prokaryotes, these are the freely suspended tail-like structure. So remember all these things. In the next slide I will actually explain in detail about the structure of prokaryotes. In eukaryotes you can see several organelles are there. There are several organelles in the eukaryotes, and these several organelles are assigned with some functions. They have some specific functions. Okay, now let us understand about the structure of prokaryotes. Now let us understand the structure of prokaryotes. Actually I can put a picture of this, but I want you people to understand, so I will draw it for you. But excuse me guys, I'm not very good at drawing, so please excuse me for that. Okay, consider this to be a prokaryote. Consider this to be a prokaryotic cell. Okay, now let us understand what all this consists of. Okay, prokaryotic. What do you mean by prokaryotic? It is primitive cell. Prokaryotic means a primitive cell, and a common example is bacteria. The common example is bacteria. Now let us understand this tail-like structure is called as flagella. This is called as flagella. Okay, why this flagella is there? Flagella helps in movement. Flagella helps in movement. It helps in movement of the cell. So flagella helps in movement. And this thread-like structure, the coiled thread-like structure. What is this coil thread-like structure? This is the genetic material. This is the genetic material. Very, very important. This is genetic material of the cell, and this is called as DNA. Okay, this is called as DNA. Mention in the comment section what do you mean by DNA. Okay, guys, mention in the comment section what do you mean by DNA. So the chromosomal DNA is localized in a region called as nucleoid. Okay, it is localized in a region called as nuclear. Why it is localized here? Because what is happening here, you do not find any nuclear membrane here. You do not find any nuclear membrane. That is the reason here the genetic material is localized in a region called as nuclear. Okay, and these dot-like structures, these are called as ribosomes. These dot-like structures are called as ribosomes, and ribosomes helps in the very important function of this ribosomes is it helps in the protein synthesis. It helps in the protein synthesis. Okay, it helps in the protein synthesis of the cell. So this is the structure of a prokaryotic cell. This is the structure of a prokaryotic cell. Now let us understand about eukaryotic. In the next session I will draw the structure of the eukaryotic cell first, but as of now just understand it is believed that eukaryotes have evolved from the prokaryotes. That thing we have already understood. They have evolved from the prokaryotes. Okay. These eukaryotes have the nuclear membrane. They have the nuclear membrane, and organelles are bound by membranes. Organelles are bound by membranes. Organelles are bound by membrane. Okay, both asexual, the kind of reproduction which happens here, the kind of reproduction which happens here is both sexual and asexual. Both sexual and asexual kind of reproduction happens here. And the cell parts are known as organelles. The cell parts are known as organelles. The cell parts are known as organelles. Okay. And next, now let us understand about the characteristics of the cell. Now let us understand about the characteristics of the cell. The cell provides structure and support to the body of an organism. Okay, it provides a structure. It provides the structure and the support to the body of an organism. It helps in reproduction. It helps in reproduction. That is very, very important thing. It helps in reproduction, and it provides energy. That is also very important. It provides the energy and allows transport of substances and facilitates the cell division Okay, so all these things you can find in the characteristics of the cell. So a single cell consists of many organisms. Single cell consists of many organelles. Cell consists of many organelles. Okay, tomorrow's topic where we will discuss about these organelles. Okay, do not miss it. Okay, it consists of many organelles. And what do you mean by organelles, guys? Organelles means a small organ. Organelle, which implies it is a small organ, and it is like a structure present inside the cell. It is a structure which is present inside the cell, and it is called as cell organelle. It is called as cell organelle. Literally, organelle may refer to little organelle. So literally, organelle may refer to little organ. It may refer to little organ. A small structure in the cell that performs a specific function. It is a small structure in the cell that performs a specific function. It performs a specific function, and that comes a organelle. Okay, membrane bound organelles are found only in eukaryotes. Membrane bound organelles are found only in eukaryotes. Okay, basically cell organelles is divided into three. Cell organelles are divided into three. Cell organelles are divided into three. They are divided into three categories. Okay, and the first category is organelles without membrane. Organelles without membrane. They are organelles without membrane. Okay, and next includes a single membrane bound organelles. Next includes a single membrane bound organelles, single membrane bound organelles. And next comes a double membrane bound organelles, double membrane bound organelles. Now let us understand about these topics. Okay, first we will discuss about organelles without membrane, organelles without membrane. Some cell organelles like ribosomes, some organelles like ribosomes are not bounded by any membrane. You will not see ribosomes bounded by any kind of membrane. So membrane is absent, they are not enclosed within a membrane. Okay, membrane is a outer structure. Okay, it is a outer structure which actually keeps organelles intact. Okay. And next, they are present in prokaryotes. They are present in prokaryotes. In prokaryotic cell, we have already understood that ribosomes are the common factor which are present both in prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. Okay, they are present in prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic. They are present in both prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Okay, and the example for this is cell wall ribosomes, cytoskeleton. So don't worry about all these things. We will definitely discuss about all these things. Okay, they are present in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So organelles without membranes, they are present in both the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, now let us understand single membrane bound organelles, single membrane bound organelles. So these organelles, some organelles are bounded by a single membrane. For an example of this is vacuole, lysosomes. So these are all comes under the organelles of a cell. We will discuss about all these things, do not worry about that. Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, all these comes under a single membrane bound organelles. Usually these are found only in eukaryotes. They are found in eukaryotic cell. They are found in eukaryotic cell only. Okay. Now let us understand about the double membrane bound organelles. Cell organelles like example, mitochondria. Just now we have understood that mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria, chloroplast, this usually you will observe in plants. Okay, chloroplast or the double membrane bound organelles. They are the double membrane bound organelles. Okay, they are present only in eukaryotes. These are also found only in eukaryotes. So among the cell organelles, the division of cell organelles, that is the categorization of cell organelles, that is organelles without membrane, they are found both in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, whereas a single membrane bound and double membrane bound organelles are only found in eukaryotes. Okay, by this actually I am winding up the lecture here, guys. From tomorrow's session we will discuss about the parts of the cell. In tomorrow's session we will discuss about the parts of the cell. Do not miss tomorrow's topic. Meet you in another session. If you appreciate my work, do give thumbs up and do like, share and subscribe. Do hit the bell icon so that whenever we are uploading a new video, you will get the notifications. Okay? Till then, happy learning. Bye-bye.